And then fuel starts to come out and gravity does the rest. If you just push down back here and lift up, it comes right out. Super light fuel tank.
Yeah.
And this is what it should look like without paint on it then.
Well, hey everybody, it's your good buddy 650 Eve here, coming to you from Sills Motor Sales for another new bike build series video. In today's episode, Zach the Master Mechanic is going to do something to our 2022 BMW S1000 RR, you know, the mineral silver, black and red machine. Yeah, something's going to happen to that bike today. I'm not exactly sure, but it's all leading up to us offering it to one of you outstanding people viewing this video for supporting the new bike build series. Information on how you could possibly win this bike once it's completed is down below in the description. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. For returning subscribers, tap that bell and you'll get notified when new content is uploaded. All right, Zach, what's up today?
Hey, what's going on? We're back in the shop. We just gave away the most beautiful S1000 RR, black and red color theme, winglets looking evil, running great and strong. Super happy owner on that one, so that was fun. Love doing that. Always makes all this work worth it, and it's just a good time. So, but we're right on to the next one as always. You took this bike down to Miami, and a bunch of parts already got installed onto it, but of course you were riding it around down there and couldn't ride it around stock. We had already flashed it, so it had that done, and then a full aero exhaust system was installed, which sounds totally different than I expected even. I thought it was going to be high pitched. It actually is pretty deep sounding and has a good note to it.
It does.
Great carbon fiber belly pan. We got some winglets.
The M-style winglets.
M-style winglets.
Yeah.
And WRS windscreen, it looks like. So just some necessities so you guys could ride it around. So now we're gonna start the detailed part of this build. We're still waiting on a couple parts to show up. So what we're gonna do is, this gas tank is actually gonna wind up with no paint on it. We're gonna make it look like the HP4 race gas tank, hopefully. It'll wind up with a brushed aluminum look and clear coat over top of it. So we're gonna get the tank off today so we can get it over to our buddy Dave and get it painted. So to get the tank off and dry it out and have it all ready for him, first thing we gotta do, drain the gasoline.
Ooh.
Too bad we don't have a TWM gas cap. Oh, we must have weighed this last time because it is very full.
Yes, it is. Oh, yes,
it is up to the spot that you fill them when we weigh the bikes.
Wow. Yeah.
So hopefully it'll all fit in this container here. So this week we're gonna give away some gasoline, right? It's just as good as money.
It is.
We'll have 5 gallons.
Yeah, that's 25 bucks right there.
Maybe even more if you're from the West Coast. Yeah, this is premium too, right?
Yes,
so,
it is.
Yeah, that's definitely 25 bucks. So I like to just take a piece of fuel line. This is just the quickest, easiest way I've found to get gas out of a fuel tank. You can have pumps, and there's pumps that run off your drill and all kinds of stuff. I don't know, this just always works with minimal effort. It does take a little bit sometimes, but usually goes pretty quick. So all we're gonna do is blow across this hose. You may not want to stand right there. There you go. And then fuel starts to come out and gravity does the rest.
Wow.
So we created a vacuum when we blew across it, just like how a carburetor works. And then, yeah, gravity does the rest.
That's crazy.
Just like if you suck on the end of a hose or something, except we didn't have to use our mouth and taste gasoline.
No, okay.
So we'll just let that do its thing. Yeah, too bad we don't have a TWM gas cap. That would have been great to install.
Yes.
While that's doing that, I can go ahead and get the airbox cover off, the side panels off, the seat. So we'll be that much closer to getting our fuel tank off. Tip for when you get these side panels off, all you got to do is, so they're clipped in under here. If you just push down back here and lift up, it comes right out. And then everything goes forward because it hooks in there and hooks in there.
What a great way to save the tabs, huh?
Yeah. So I do like the way that BMW mounted the gas tank on this bike. It's just 3 bolts. There's always been 3 bolts, but last time it went through the frame on the older version. Now you just have some nuts up here. Super easy to access, and then the 1 bolt in the back. And while our gas tank's out, being painted or unpainted and sealed, we got the stage 2 components we can put in the intake track. We got some Samco coolant hoses we can get on it. And some engine ice. Hopefully we'll get some wheels coming our direction. Some titanium fasteners, although we may not need as many, depending on what the bodywork looks like.
Correct, yeah.
Full Brembo brake system's on its way, right?
Oh yeah, with the nickel-plated calipers.
Oh yeah.
RCS 17.
Cool.
Yeah, of course, the core thing. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be badass. Brazoma brake reservoirs are coming and all that.
Yeah, we also have the Friend Tubo carbon fiber brake line kit with the ABS, so I think it changes all these lines. We'll probably see if there's a weight difference.
Okay.
I don't know, it might be easier to just change line by line, so then we can't weigh them really. Or we can weigh the Friend Tubo first and then weigh the stainless at the end.
Yeah.
All right, so we got the gas all drained out into our fuel container. And if you take a look down there, you can see it's pretty dry.
Oh yeah.
And that's our fuel pump, and there's a little float level sensor in there. So let's get the gas tank up and off so we can take a better look at that fuel pump and float. So we just gotta pull our vent lines. I already took the bolts out of the tank. Vent lines come off much easier than the previous generation. This we just tilt up, lift it up. It's super light fuel tank.
Yeah.
And this is what it should look like without paint on it then.
Beautiful.
But we're gonna take a Scotch-Brite pad, hopefully, and get some nice straight lines in it.
Yes, David will.
Or that's what I would use. I don't know what he'll use. So disconnect our fuel level sensor and our fuel pump. And I mean, we could put it on scale, but here, I don't know, you wanna see how light it is?
Yeah.
You can
With one hand.
Yeah.
It's light. It's light.
So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Put it off to the side, we'll get the bike off the bench. All right, so we're just gonna pull the body clips off and these rubber grommets out, so there's nothing on the fuel tank in the way. You can see from the factory, it does have some heat shielding tape.
Yes, it's not gold.
It is not gold, so it cannot make the bike any faster.
Right.
Maybe we should replace it with gold.
We should, Mr. Zach.
Get an extra horsepower.
Yeah.
And now these bolts here are what hold the fuel pump in. We'll just go ahead and zap them on out. In a crisscross pattern, of course.
Yes.
That's funny, I see they actually made it so that this part of the fuel pump you can bolt on and off. They had a huge recall on like every other model, and even the S1000s from 2000. If you got a 2010 to probably 13 or so, you might check and see. You probably have a recall on your bike for a fuel pump because this cracks, this flange here cracks. So they just change them. So this is our fuel pump assembly.
It eventually gets removed.
Eventually it fits through this hole.
Yeah. Oh.
So we got a gasket. That's what keeps the fuel from leaking out.
Okay.
This is where the fuel actually gets picked up in this sock here. So you always want this to be nice and clean. And this is your actual fuel pump. It gets power through these wires. Right here you can see power and ground. And then the fuel pump pressurizes it. It comes out the fuel hose into the fuel hose, then goes right from here right into our injector rail, where fuel pressure is just sitting here waiting to get in the engine. And then as soon as the correct signals are fired by the ECU, the injectors open up and the fuel gets shot in, and that's what shoots the fuel in so that then the spark can ignite it and it can burn.
Sounds complicated.
Yeah, so that's step number one. Something else we can look at, we can check out our fuel level gauge. So you see this moves up and down. They got this rheostat pretty protected, so it's hard to see. So this is what's on what's called a rheostat. If you get in there, see that little arch of metal?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what's actually changing as this arm moves and wipes across those stripes of metal. The resistance on these two wires here go into this connector changes, and it reads that resistance, and then the fuel level shows up on your dash. It goes through what's called a GM or a base module first. We can take a quick look at that with a meter just to see what it looks like. So one thing that BMW does that's really nice, if I grab the wrong one, is they make troubleshooting connectors for all their connectors. So like I can splice this in line and then put my meter on it without damaging any of the pins in the connector. I just happen to grab one that's 3, I gotta grab the one that's 4. And not only that, they give them a part number, so while you're in your troubleshooting, it'll say grab connector 610530, and you grab it, and then you're like, oh, I can do some troubleshooting.
Nice.
So we're gonna hook into this one. This cable's seen a lot of use over the years because there's always fuel level problems. Don't know why. Let that hang off the bench. Grab my multimeter here. And we're gonna go to resistance. Oh, that was not supposed to happen.
Yeah. Bloopers.
Bloopers. Blooper reel.
Yeah.
That was what's supposed to happen.
Okay.
And then just because we have it apart, we can look. So it's the center two that are actually going to have a reading. There's no wires in the outer two pins. So if I pop my meter into the center two holes here, you can see we got a resistance reading of 49.5 ohms. And as I move this, this would be full. So at a full tank, you're at almost 300 ohms.
Yeah.
So then as you go down the road and you use fuel, this float's going to drop lower and lower because it's just sitting on top of the gas because it's floating.
Yeah.
And the fuel level is dropping. And once you get down to, oh, I don't know, probably like 30 or 40 here, it kicks on the low fuel light. This little guy right here actually, no, that's a pressure regulator. No, so this kicks on the low fuel light. Sometimes they have another sensor for low fuel, but this one doesn't. So that's what, it takes this reading and this goes to another ECU and it goes, oh, it's at 32 ohms. I need to display this onto the display. Yeah. And that also has what's called like a damper in it because you don't want your fuel reading to change every time you hit a bump,
exactly.
Right? So it's noticing, it's like, oh, look, we're going between 97, 102, 97. Obviously, we're not losing gas that fast. We're going to stabilize at this level and just, they used to do it not with a computer and it was, I don't know how they did it actually, but
okay.
It got dampened somehow.
But this is brilliant.
So,
yeah.
But that's how you can check if your fuel level sensor is working. So if I move this and it just stayed at 40, it would always show low fuel.
Yes.
If I move it and it stays at 300, it would always stay full, and you know that there's a break in that rheostat. And it also should be real smooth. Like I should be able to move it little bits and get little readings. Say I move it a little bit and it jumps a lot, then that could be something that's wrong as well. But that's nice and fluid, so that's working as it's supposed to. So we got our tank off. Looks pretty dry. I think I'll just, all the body clips are off.
Yeah.
I think we got this ready for unpainting and resealing.
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah, so unfortunately, that's really all we have for today.
That's quite enough.
Motorcycle-wise.
You know, you showed you flexed your Zach the Master Mechanic muscle with this stuff here. That's fantastic. And we got a preview of what's to come with this amazing fuel tank.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what it looks like when it comes back because there's not too many bikes out there that have it, if any, so it should be pretty cool.
All right.
Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Thank
Catch you in the next one.
All right, guys. You heard Mr. Zach. When that tank comes back, we're going to install it probably with this same bodywork because we're still waiting for our full 6 carbon fiber bodywork to come back. It's going to be wide body from full 6. So we'll probably just use that fuel tank on this, but it'll look great on this bike with that color scheme.
Oh, yeah, with this color scheme?
Yeah.
Actually, a customer had one of these bikes in the other day, and everything on it was just darkened out. It looked really good. It was a good-looking bike.
Oh, wow.
This color scheme's starting to grow on me a little bit.
I love it, Zach.
Do you?
Yeah.
At first, I wasn't a huge fan, but as I've seen more of them, and once you get some parts on them, they start to look really nice.
Yeah.
I can't believe you guys left the reflectors on.
Oh, he was supposed to put a carbon fiber fender on there, so yeah, we need to rip those off or something.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys, information on how you can possibly win this motorcycle is down below in the description. Make sure you join our Patreon family, and you might win this bike once it's all completed. Thanks for viewing the video, guys, and we'll catch you next time on the 650 EB YouTube channel. We got a beautiful bike in the makings.